Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time we're tackling something that's pretty much universal, something you do every day, routines.
Yep.
We're diving deep into an excerpt from Brianna Weist's 101 essays that will change the way you think.
Oh, this is a good one.
So our listener wants to understand the psychology behind routines, how they affect our happiness and success and all that good stuff.
Right. Makes sense. It's a popular topic.
So let's get right to it. The excerpt makes this really interesting point right off the bat, saying that routines could be a secret weapon for success.
Okay, I can see that.
We always think of geniuses as being, well, kind of free spirits.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that sort of unbridled creativity, just going with the flow.
exactly. But Weiss points out that a lot of super successful people, artists, entrepreneurs, you name it, they're actually really big on routines, like structured routines.
Interesting. It kind of makes sense, though, when you think about it.
So are you saying my chaotic mornings aren't actually a sign of hidden genius?
Well, not necessarily.
Okay, good.
But the really interesting part is why routines seem to work for so many people.
Yeah, why is that?
It's not just about being organized. That's part of it, sure. But routines actually work on a deeper level, creating this subconscious feeling of stability.
Okay, I can see that.
It's like they're this container for your day, which frees up your mental energy for all the important stuff. The thinking and creating and all that.
It's like when you have a designated worry time, so you're not anxious all day long.
Exactly. And that actually leads us to another interesting point. Routines and mood. They're connected.
Oh, right. I remember this from the excerpt.
Wheelis talks about this psychologist, Robert Thayer. He studied this whole thing about how the tiny habits we have, the stuff we do day in and day out, they actually end up influencing our overall mood.
I can see that.
It's not about any one thing being good or bad. It's about how all those actions add up.
Okay, so if I start my day by hitting snooze, then scrolling through social media, then rushing out the door.
Right, that sets you up for a stressful, reactive kind of day. Maybe not the best start.
So it's like wearing rose-colored glasses, but for habits. If you change the routine, you change your outlook.
Huh, you got it. And that brings us to this idea. Weiss talks about the untamed mind. Basically, she's saying that without routines, our minds are like, a minefield.
A minefield. That's intense.
All these impulses and distractions just pulling us in every direction.
Oh, I can definitely relate to that. Trying to work with a million tabs open, thinking about laundry, that text I haven't replied to.
Right. Routines are like the antidote to all that mental chaos.
The antidote. I like that.
They help us make conscious choices instead of just reacting to every little thing that pops into our heads.
So instead of checking social media every 5 minutes, my routine could be check it after finishing this task.
Exactly. And that little shift can make you feel so much more in control, less reactive.
It makes you create the flow instead of just go with the flow.
Yeah.
Okay, but hold on. Doesn't all this structure, routines and all, doesn't it go against just enjoying life, being spontaneous?
That's what a lot of people think, but actually, Weist actually says that routine can make you enjoy life more.
Really?
Because you're more present. It's not about cramming a ton of activities into your day. It's more about experiencing those things on a deeper level.
So it's not doing more, it's being more in what we're already doing.
Yeah, exactly. Have you ever noticed how much you appreciate a vacation after a crazy busy time at work?
Dude, totally. That first day on the beach after months of deadlines is just bliss.
Right, and routines can give you that same feeling in everyday life. That contrast, that appreciation. By setting boundaries and creating space for different things, you actually savor them more.
It's like absence makes the heart grow fonder, but for everyday stuff.
Yep. Okay, so this is where it gets kind of wild. Routines and our fight or flight response.
Oh yeah, that part blew my mind a little.
So we know that our fight or flight system kicks in when we're feeling threatened, right?
Right, danger.
Weist argues that routines actually help with that because they bring predictability and a sense of control. They calm that whole fear response down.
So it's like knowing what to expect kind of lowers our anxiety, even the stuff we don't realize we're carrying around.
Precisely. When we're not always on high alert, we're more open to those good feelings, the positive stuff.
Okay, I'm with you.
Think about how you feel walking into a familiar, comfy space. Your favorite coffee shop or something.
Instant relaxation, shoulders drop, I can finally breathe.
Exactly. That's what routines can do for us mentally.
So it's not just productivity, It's about feeling safe and happy in our own lives.
That's it. And the interesting thing is this whole routine thing changes as we grow up.
Right, Weiss talked about that. Kids versus
For
adults.
kids, routines are about safety and security. Bedtime rituals, the school day, all that.
It's all about knowing what's coming next.
Yep. But for us grown-ups, it shifts.
Becomes more about purpose, right?
Exactly. Controlling our lives a little bit.
Makes sense. We've got way more choices to make, more uncertainty.
Right. And routines help us navigate all that.
It's like you're drowning in possibilities, and a routine throws you a life preserver.
Perfect analogy. Okay, building on that, Wyest also says routines can make us better decision makers.
This is the part about reaffirming decisions.
You got it. She uses writing a book as an example.
Okay, that's a big one.
Super daunting. But if you make yourself write, say, 1 page every day, you're not just making progress.
Right.
You're also reminding yourself, I chose to write this book.
So every time you sit down to write, you're recommitting to the project.
Exactly. Which is super helpful when we hit roadblocks or start doubting ourselves. Routines like this anchor that keeps us on track.
It's like saying, I made this choice, and I'm sticking with it every day.
Powerful stuff, right?
Totally changes how I think about procrastination.
It's not just willpower. It's strategy.
Mind blown. So we've talked about stability, mood, decisions. What else is there?
Oh, there's more. We haven't even gotten to flow state yet.
Flow state. That sounds pretty cool. Tell me more.
Imagine you're so absorbed in what you're doing that time just disappears. You're completely in the zone. That's flow state.
Oh, yeah. Like when I'm working on a design and completely lose track of time.
Exactly. And routines can actually help you get into that state more easily.
Seriously. How does that work?
It's about creating these like predictable cues for your body and mind. Routines train us to associate certain times and activities with that feeling of deep focus.
So my body and mind learn to expect that flow state based on the routine.
Yep, that's the idea.
Wow. Okay, this is all making a lot of sense now. Routines aren't just about getting stuff done. They're about unlocking our creative potential, getting super focused.
Yeah.
But doesn't all that structure, doesn't it stifle creativity?
Great question. And Wiest actually addresses that head on, she says. She says it's actually the opposite. Think about it. Creativity comes from connecting ideas, right?
Yeah.
But when your mind's all over the place, it's harder to make those connections.
Okay, I can see that.
But with routines,
Yeah.
they free up space in your head for those sparks to fly.
Like decluttering your brain so you can actually see what's possible.
Exactly. Routines give you the mental breathing room for those aha moments.
I love that.
But there's one more thing Wiest talks about that's really fascinating.
Okay, what's that?
How not having a routine can, like, mess with how we see fear.
Oh, right. I remember that part. About how we mix up fear with just, being really invested in something.
Exactly. We put things off not because they're actually dangerous, but because they feel icky.
Uncomfortable, yeah.
And without routines, we let those feelings run the show.
It's like the Sunday scaries, but every day.
Yep. Wiest says routines can help us tell the difference between healthy investment in something and, like, actual fear. When you have a routine, you're less likely to fall into those procrastination traps because you've already made the decision to do the thing at a specific time.
So you don't waste energy deciding whether or not to do it. You just do it. It's already on the schedule.
You got it. Which means you can focus on the task itself, not all the fear and indecision.
This has been so insightful. We've gone from simple organization to mood, decisions, creativity, even fear.
Routines really are powerful, huh?
Totally. So for everyone listening, take a sec to think about that. What's one small thing you could do consistently that would make a positive difference?
It could be anything.
Like taking 5 minutes to stretch when you wake up.
Or carving out time for creative work, even if it's just 15 minutes a day.
Or setting up a regular bedtime routine to sleep better.
The point is, start small, stick with it, and see what happens.
Even little changes can make a big difference.
They really can.
And remember, there will be days when you nail your routine and days when things go sideways. That's life.
Totally. It's not about being perfect. It's about the overall pattern. Just trying to create a life that feels good and helps you reach your goals.
And our routines should change as we do. What worked last year might not work this year, and that's okay. Be flexible. Experiment.
Find that balance between structure and freedom.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling super inspired to revamp my own routines.
Me too.
Big thanks to Brianna Weist for these amazing insights.
And a huge thanks to you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of routines.
Remember, small changes can lead to big results. Go out there and experiment, find what works for you, and see how the power of routine can change your life.
Until next time.
See you on the next deep dive.